Saxon Associates.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, kids get up close with big rigs as Fort Scott Community College faculty showcase CDL training opportunities.
Also, downtown Joplin's Restaurant Week is in full swing, showcasing their locally owned restaurants.
And some of us dealing with some fog, otherwise not a bad start to the day. Partly cloudy skies later and temperatures above normal on the horizon. A look at your forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m. now on this Monday, September 29th. We've got October in just a couple of days. Hopefully you are ready, getting the fall decor ready. Got Lisa here. My goodness, Lori, I am so sorry.
Where did that come from?
I don't know where Lisa even came from. Lori's here though. She may leave after that. You may not be able to find out how these cookies are made. Well, she's got some amazing ginger snaps to make this morning as well, and some big rigs up in Fort Scott.
Yes, young residents from the Kansas Renewal Institute in Fort Scott were able to get an introduction to the world of truck driving.
KOAM's Kenny Foreman has more.
Faculty from Fort Scott Community College's Commercial Driver's License Training Program visited the Kansas Renewal Institute today to speak and show off trucks to several of its youth groups.
Life is so busy, and I think it's important that we take time for the small stuff. And these children are the future of our society, and I think it's important to show them options for careers and teach them things that will help them in life be better people.
KRI Activities Director Abby Steps regularly works to set up meaningful activities, such as today's for the kids, to help them broaden their horizons.
Throughout all of their experiences that we help them find and go through, it's just essential that we make sure that we're exposing them to things that will help them in the future.
KRI's main mission is to make sure its residents can live successful lives at home upon discharge. Steps is thankful for the role that FSCC continues to play in regards to that mission.
It's just really special because Fort Scott Community College has their doors open for anyone. And our community, they especially want us to be a part of it, and so they really are truly the best. They really communicate well, and they want to be even more involved than they already are.
Although it'll still be several more years before the kids are able to get behind the wheel, Hanley hopes he leaves some of them feeling inspired enough to one day want to obtain their CDL.
I hope to see some of them in the near future. I told several of them, we're 3 blocks north of you here, so when you're done here, come see us. I'll teach you how to drive a truck.
In Fort Scott, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Now, the Fort Scott CDL training program currently lasts 6 weeks and prepares students to get their CDL through classroom and hands-on instruction.
Very cool and very important too. We need truck drivers out there. That's how stuff gets that's how this couch got here. All right. Yeah. That's how it got to where we got it from. That's how it got up here. We need those drivers, so very cool program indeed. And a very cool start to the day. Our temperatures overnight haven't been that bad. They've been pretty close to normal. Not right on par, but not that far off. It's our daytime highs that are cooking us out there. We're going to start with a live look from downtown Pittsburgh, where the sunrise looks fantastic. In fact, starting with clear skies from our camera there. Same from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. At least looking back to the east, skies are clear across the area, at least again, for some of us. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline in Joplin, looking good as well as folks, again, continue to get the day started. However, some patchy fog. In fact, now denser fog. Chanute, Independence, Fredonia, Yates Center. You can see points in between. Dense fog out there. Below 1 mile of visibility in Chanute. Parsons, Iola, Yates Center, as I mentioned, are reduced as well. Eastern Benton County and around the Grand Lake area. Grove, Anderson, also with some patchy fog. Nowata, Veneta with some reduced visibilities as well. Same in Sedan. So just, it's kind of out there. It is patchy in nature, but you can see where we've got some denser fog, and we could have some dense fog outside of that as well. So slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them, and give yourself time to get where you're going and leave plenty of distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you. Now, once we get through the fog, we are looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies through the afternoon. We are dry. We do need more rain, but we don't have any on the short range here. And otherwise, temperatures remaining above normal. Now again, our overnight lows haven't been that far off. We're into the upper 50s for most of us. Still got some low 60s here and there. Neosho, Monette, for example, Iola sitting at 60. Same with Bonita. Our temperatures, though, will climb pretty quickly. Patchy fog continues to about 9, 10 o'clock. We're upper 60s by 9, about 80 by noon. And our highs today, low to mid 80s with the southeast breeze at 5 to 10. Now, believe it or not, as we head into October, these temperatures go a little higher, but we do have some possible relief on the way. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, just after 1:30 Friday, I-49 traffic north of Carthage was delayed as a Harley-Davidson motorcycle crashed into the median. Carthage Fire and Mercy EMS rushed to the scene, and although life-saving measures were performed, the male did not survive. The southbound motorcycle lost control, traveled to the edge of the road and struck a post, then continued into the median and crashed. Jasper County Coroner James Harrison tells KOAM Jacob Morby, a 41-year-old from Bonner Springs, Kansas, died on the scene. And the Guilty by Association truck show rolled into Joplin this past weekend, bringing with it one of the largest community events in the region. The 3-day celebration draws in thousands of visitors and truck enthusiasts from across the country, and it's not just about showcasing big rigs. It's a major highlight is the Special Olympics convoy, where trucking companies bid for top spots in the lineup, raising hundreds of thousands of dollars to support athletes and families. Now, from kids' tractor pulls and big rig burnouts to food vendors, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And the Downtown Joplin Alliance cooks up a great way to promote some local restaurants with a week designed to showcase them. KOAM's Ty Parks brought a fork to downtown Joplin to really dig into the story.
Joplin is rich with history. The main street still showcases some of the buildings from the 1800s. One of the buildings now holds Hackett Hot Wings, one of the restaurants featured in the Restaurant Week.
We're participating in Restaurant Week because it's a downtown event, and we got a lot of stuff that be going on down here. And, you know, for this Restaurant Week, you know, I made up a new sauce. It's called the Sweet and Spicy Caribbean. And you got your Sneaker Martini right there. We're going to represent that during Restaurant Week.
Preparing for the influx of old customers as well as making some new ones.
Feels real good. It's good. I get to meet some new customers that come down for that. That's awesome right there. And then see some of the old customers and then feature new things. And you know, being down here, you know, during football season and stuff is an awesome place to be.
The local shops love that this week happens to bring people into this part of town.
We love supporting local. We love our local community, trying to get everyone off of Range Line to come downtown, Main Street.
15 different restaurants are on display all between 2nd and 10th Street. Ice cream, pizza, coffee, and brunch within a few blocks walk.
That's awesome right there, because I feel like I wish we had more, to have more representation of different restaurants and stuff.
In Joplin, looking for some good food, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Hungry visitors to Main Street can sample the local cuisine through October 4th. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Lori Horton joins us in the studio to share her recipe for an old-fashioned ginger snap. And later, Congressman Eric Burleson highlights Joplin's role in national defense during his Manufacturing Month. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Time now, 7:08. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Islip City Park.
Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Welcome back. Lori Horton has been sharing with us her recipe for some old-fashioned ginger snaps this morning. Now, we've already mixed together our dry ingredients. What's the next step, Lori?
Next step up, we're going to whip together those soft ingredients. Okay. And all I've got in my bowl right now is just a stick and a half of butter and some regular granulated sugar. I'm going to make a little bit of noise for a minute. We want to just get that a little bit fluffy before we add our molasses and our egg to that. So I've been mixing on it for a little bit, so I'm going to give it that last little whirl. Okay, we want to just make sure that that sugar kind of starts to incorporate in there. Yes. Creaming those together, pretty standard fare for a cookie recipe. So we're going to add into this 1/3 cup of our molasses. Okay. And you can see it's nice and thick. It's got that really good, strong, just just a very unique flavor. And we would ordinarily mix this a little bit, scrape our bowl down before we add that egg. We're gonna just cut a couple corners this morning. Go ahead and mix that in there. It can be done. And we're gonna whip that a little bit more, just on a low speed. Don't go crazy. We just wanna get them fully incorporated. It's nice when you have an angled bowl because you can really get into those corners without having to stop quite so much. What you're gonna end up with is a mixture that looks very much like whipped peanut butter. We've got a nice color to it. We'll pull that off a little bit. And all that's gonna do is really come together at about that same thickness. So, you know, it really looks sort of more like that, but you can smell those flavors. You can smell that molasses in there. So good. Now I'm going to start to go very slowly, little bit at a time, and incorporate those dry ingredients into this bowl. And I'm gonna do this by hand for the most part. If you have a stand mixer with a little more power behind it, you could absolutely do that. You still wanna do it in about at least 2 batches of your dry mix. But you definitely don't want to put this heavy of a load on your hand mixer. So we're going to just go gently and kind of lightly smush those dry ingredients in there as we work our way around. What we're going to end up with is a very dense dough. So you'll be able to, once we have all of those dry ingredients mixed in there, really pick this dough up without it sticking to your hands or your gloves. It's going to be very thick. It makes it come out so soft. That baking soda that we added in there in the beginning is going to give us a nice puff the cookie as it bakes, but it's also going to level out and give us a good crisp outside with crackle, a soft, chewy inside. So I'm going to continue working this dry mix in, and when we come back, we'll show you just exactly how dense that gets. And then, as you guys know, I never do anything plain. So we'll have that final little sparkly step to add to that outside to make these just really fancy.
All right, sounds like a plan, Lori. Thanks. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're joined by Lori Horton this morning, who's just finishing up the last steps for these delicious ginger snaps.
So good. This is where we're going to get a little bit of a workout when it gets down to the last bit of our flour mixture in that dough, but it is so worth it. And again, a stand mixer would definitely be able to handle this, but it's still, you're going to do this on a low speed with that paddle attachment. Definitely not a whisk. So once we've got this done, as you'll see, it is very, very dense, very, very stiff. You can see it really stays on my spatula there. So we're going to kind of do our final step here before we throw these in the oven. And I'm just going to get some gloves on here because I'm going to handle that dough. You can use kind of any size of cookie scoop that you want. I've got what I'd consider kind of a medium. Kind of just
perfect size.
It really does. It kind of fits in the palm of your hand that way. Always a good size for, especially a type of cookie that's going to spread a little bit and stay a little flat. So we're going to get just a nice leveled scoop on that. I'm going to set it down here, and what I've got in this container is a little bit of granulated sugar. And we're going to add to that, if you'll put just a little dash in there, a little sprinkle. That is our left of our ginger.
Boom.
That very, very gingerly amount for the ginger.
I was like, oh no.
We're going to shake it up just a little bit because we basically want to coat that sugar with a little bit of the dry ginger. And we're going to take our little scoop of dough and throw that in that container. And then you want to coat it completely. So I'm going to flip it from side to side. Think of it like a snickerdoodle. You really want to get that on there. Now, this is just regular granulated sugar, which you can absolutely use, and it's going to taste so good. If you look at the ones that I baked yesterday, you can really see the sugar on there. I actually used a larger grain crystal sugar. So it comes out with that little bit of crunch. You can even use colors of sugar in the crystal sugar. Pretty. They're kind of a gold and silver, give it a little bit of sparkle. So you get the same flavor profile with those. It doesn't really matter if you have the granulated sugar in the cabinet and that's all, and you don't want to get out and get anything different just for that it still works great, and they're gonna taste awesome. But you just want that little bit extra pop of ginger to the outside, as well as the sugar as they do, because they, again, like you said, with the crackle, it just makes it a little bit pretty.
So good, yes.
You're gonna bake these on parchment paper. That's a very important step, and give them a couple inches between, because as you can see, this is the size scoop that I used, and this is the size that the cookie comes out. So give yourself a little room between, otherwise you get this little flat edge like this one here that I got too close. They still taste delicious, but they're not quite so perfect. When they come out, they'll have a nice dark bottom. That molasses really crisps up a little bit.
Great, perfect.
But they keep so well, and they still have that nice chewy middle.
Yes.
And I will give you the tip that my grandma always used when she stored ginger snaps. Put them in a sealed container and put a slice of bread in there. It will pull that moisture from the bread and keep them so nice and soft. Perfect use for those heels that the kids don't like to eat.
Absolutely. Well, a fantastic tip and a fantastic recipe. Lori, as always, thanks so much for being with us. We'll be right back.
Museum.org.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 7:23 on this Monday morning, starting with the fog tracker. We do have some pretty dense fog building across parts of southeastern Kansas. So Chanute, Yates Center, Fredonia, Independence, even Parsons to Sedan, and stretching down south into parts of northeastern Oklahoma. You need to use your low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. I drill it in every day, but we had those crashes last week. When we had that very dense fog across a good portion of the area, we had some serious crashes. You've got to slow down. You've got to play it safe. You've got to take it easy during the dense fog. I know it's one of those things. It's not a severe storm. It's not a winter storm or anything like that. You're like, it's just fog. That fog can seriously reduce your visibilities and obstruct what you may know. You may be familiar with the roads. But when you can't see them, you have no landmarks. You don't know how close you are to where that road ends or where that curve might be. So just be cautious out there this morning. We also have fog around the Grand Lake area, Grove, Anderson, and then eastern Benton County as well. So like I said, just be cautious this morning. It's not worth the crash or something much more serious taking place just so you can get where you're going on time. Okay, you got to go slow. You got to be smart. Got to be safe, because the fog, it's not like it lasts all day. By 9, 10 at the latest, it's done. It's gone. And it's better to arrive a couple of minutes late than not at all. And once we get past that fog, though, we've got mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as we head through the afternoon and evening. Overnight, clouds will begin to thicken up, and we're going to start to go mostly cloudy as we head towards sunrise on Tuesday. Future track still showing maybe a sprinkle or two, so don't be surprised if you get a couple of raindrops on your windshield. But the overall chances of any rain tomorrow are less than 5%. We'll just be mostly cloudy and still well above normal. As we head overnight, skies begin to clear, and then Wednesday looks a lot like today, where we're going to have that mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies out there, and otherwise just temperatures continuing to remain warm. Sunrise looks good from 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. Again, there's that patchy fog possibility. Otherwise, low 60s to start. Look how quickly we warm up. Upper 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. As we roll into the afternoon, temperatures today low mid 80s out there. Again, with that mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies and a southeast breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Still pretty mild through the evening, upper 60s by 10. But our lows, as I've mentioned, they're the closest to normal. Now, they're not right where they should be, but they're closer to normal than where our highs have been here lately. We'll go upper 50s, low 60s. And I remember earlier this year when we started warming up, we had the exact opposite, where our lows were 10 to 20 degrees above average, but we weren't doing a lot of warming in the afternoon. And so our highs were pretty close to normal. It's just our lows were really mild. Now it's the other way around. Our lows, again, they're above average, yes, but they're a lot closer to normal than our highs. Mid 80s tomorrow. Wednesday, upper 80s, getting close to 90 in the first couple of days of October. But we are watching a system as we head into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Still a few days out. These rain chances are pretty low. We'd really like to see those rain chances go up because we do need some rain in the area. But this system does bring us, at least at this time, some isolated storm chances and should kick our temperatures back down closer to average into the upper 70s. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
City of Pittsburgh.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. I'm Elise Snowy. Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson kicked off National Manufacturing Month by touring local companies, Eagle Pitcher and Ducommon. He capped it off with lunch at Missouri Southern State University alongside students and community leaders. Burleson, who chairs the House Subcommittee on Economic Growth, Energy Policy, and Regulatory Affairs, says Joplin's manufacturing sector plays a vital role in U.S. security, with local companies producing components for defense systems like Israel's Iron Dome.
The Iron Dome would not exist if it weren't for people in my district in Joplin, Missouri, who are manufacturing components for the Iron Dome. Whenever I'm talking to somebody who's building a or anybody in the DoD who's working on a Tomahawk helicopter, or someone who's working on the Artemis rocket, or I would say that project is not possible if it weren't for the amazing people in Joplin, Missouri.
When the House returns to session on October 7th, Burleson says he will continue pushing to rein in government spending as the House-passed budget measure remains stalled in the Senate. And some Joplin residents gathered at the Joplin Avenue Coffee Company to share stories from local history and Ozarks folklore. The event, called the Joplin Story Swap, gave participants a chance to swap tales, enjoy coffee, and connect with the community. Organizers plan to meet every third Sunday of the month, encouraging anyone to join, whether to tell a story or to listen.
This is a group of people that are interested in all kinds of storytelling. We're interested in everything from fairy tales to Joplin history. It's very, very broad, and we're all interested in sharing our stories and finding audiences and encouraging people to learn how to, be better at storytelling.
Now, the group hopes to make it a regular gathering, giving everyone a chance to tell a story, listen, and connect with the community over a cup of coffee. And the Neosho National Fish Hatchery opened its gates to senior citizens and individuals with disabilities for a special fishing derby Friday. The derby served as one of 4 annual events designed to make outdoor recreation more accessible to the community. The event offered a comfortable and easy fishing experience for those who may not have access to traditional fishing spots. And a Carl Junction tradition returns for its 28th year. The Carl Junction Bluegrass Festival returned with a lineup including Living on the Edge Band, Borderline Bluegrass, and more. The car show makes its return this year and raised money for the local shop with the COP program. The event also included more than 100 vendors and a kids area and petting zoo. Well, families in Newton County had the chance to enjoy a full day of fun while supporting education. The festival raises money for Neosho Christian School and featured activities the whole family can enjoy. Admissions were just $10 per car, making it an affordable way to spend the day together while giving back to the community.
I think this brings together the community and helps us focus on good causes for the community. Our mission and effort at Neosho Christian Schools serves the community, and this is a great way for the community to help give back.
And the walk to an Alzheimer's took place at Gorilla Village in Pittsburgh over the weekend. More than 100 people took part in the walk, including researcher and former SAK president Matthew Taylor. KOAM's very own Tanya Bach was the MC for the event, and the event raises money for Alzheimer's research and breakthroughs.
It's exciting to be here and be where I grew up and to see that this disease affects people all over the world, and it's just great to be here and see that there are people that are taking advocacy roles that are working towards the elimination of this disease.
Let's take it over now to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty nice sunrise out there, as you can see from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. Looking good so far. Same from our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin as we continue to get this day started. Clear skies to the east. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin also looking good this morning, but we do have some dense fog into parts of southeast Kansas. So Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, Independence, Sedan, Parsons, all with reduced visibility. Chanute just under a mile. So you need to make sure you're slowing down. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if if you've got them, and just give yourself time to get where you're going. It's all right if you're a little bit late, because last week we had that very dense fog with zero visibilities across the wide portion of the area, and we had crashes as a result of that. You may be familiar with the road you take every day, but when you can't see it, you have no landmarks. You don't know where that curve is or where it's going to end. So just be cautious out there this morning. We also have some patchy fog around the Grand Lake area. Once that burns off, though, we'll have mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as we roll through the day today. We will be dry and we will be warm. Temperatures to start the day fairly seasonable, not exactly where they should be, but pretty close. A little cooler in Parsons, sitting at 54 degrees. Most of us into the upper 50s, have some low 60s. Warmer spots, Stockton and Yates Center, both at 61. Fog continues through 9-10 at the latest. We'll go upper 60s by 9, about 80 by noon. At our highs today, low to mid 80s with that southeast breeze at 5 to 10 miles an hour. The temperatures will continue to climb, believe it or not, as we head into October, but there may be some relief on the way. We'll go over those details with you in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a pastime activity may lead to cognitive benefits. Recent findings published in the Social Science and Medicine Journal find that volunteering can actually slow down cognitive decline. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more from New York.
Helping others might do more for you than you think. A recent study found that volunteering is associated with slowing down cognitive decline.
When they stopped or reduced their levels of helping behaviors, that actually sped up the pace of cognitive aging.
Researchers looked at more than 30,000 American adults over 2 decades. During that time, individuals who formally volunteered or informally assisted family and friends outside the home had a 15 to 20% drop in cognitive decline, though the benefit was observed in those who devoted 100 to 200 annual hours of assisting others.
About 2 to 4 weekly hours of helping, which can seem like a lot, but you can sort of compare that number to how many hours older people on average spend in front of screens.
According to experts, 1 in 3 older Americans participate in scheduled volunteering, but the cognitive benefits go beyond a formal setting. Caring for a friend's child, cutting someone's lawn, or even preparing a family member's taxes all count towards informal volunteering.
So as long as the behavior leads to meaningful social connections, we believe any type of helping behavior, whether it be formal volunteering or informal helping, can lead to better cognitive outcomes.
Experts recommend keeping older adults engaged in any form of helping others as long as possible to prevent worsening cognitive function. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KLEA Morning News. Students' reading scores dropped to the lowest level in history, according to the nation's report card. Why experts say bedtime stories are more important than ever. We'll be right back. Time now 7:37. But first, here's a live look from Heslop City Park.
State of
14.
Well, September is National Literacy Month. It's the perfect time to introduce children to tools that foster early literacy skills and develop their love of reading.
Fox's Anna Epiopoulos has more on the benefits for the youngest readers.
Reading a bedtime story to your child is a tradition that goes beyond bonding time. Not only sparking their love for reading, it can also play a vital role in their long-term success.
By age 3, 85% of brain development is complete. So waiting until school to start a love of reading is too late.
Melissa Tigas, the vice president of strategic initiatives at Cottage Door Press, says early reading leads to academic success, improved mental health, longer life expectancy, and more.
There's vocabulary growth, the stimulation of creativity and imagination. Children that are read to from birth tend to have exposure to 1 million more words than children who are not read to from birth.
Developing reading skills is more crucial than ever, with the recently released Nation's report card showing a decline in reading proficiency. It shows students' reading scores dropping to the lowest level in history. And some educators point to increased screen time, shortened attention spans, and a decline in reading longer form content as contributing factors.
The amount of people people reading aloud to their kids, and kids reading for pleasure has dropped substantially.
And to help foster a love of reading, Tiga suggests starting as early as birth and cultivating reading habits throughout early childhood.
The first couple of years, it's just more about engaging with them and reading to them so that they can hear this language. By 3 or 4, giving them some independent reading time, giving them books that are at their level, letting them go to the library and pick out what they want to read.
As they get older, it can become more difficult to get them to put down the screens and pick up a book. But Tigas reminds parents not all screens equal wasted screen time.
There are ways to use technology in a way that is beneficial, and these kids are part of this more, technologically advanced generation. And we, again, have to kind of meet them where they're at and find tools that help bridge the gap between the old and the new.
Tigas encourages parents to model behavior and remember any reading is learning.
Not worrying so much about what they're reading, just that they are reading.
Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
Very, very interesting,
Right.
and
It's so
unfortunate.
important, yeah.
Very, very important to do with that extra reading, because as you showed, those reading scores are dropping out there. So we got to get kids in front of more books.
Absolutely, certainly do. We'll have another look at the forecast, but now let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
See the difference.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:44 coming up on 7:45 on this Monday morning. And again, some dense fog across parts of southeastern Kansas. Yates Center, Chanute, Independence, Fredonia, Sedan, Parsons, Iola. Just some of the communities into this dense fog, and some of these visibilities could be at 0. So even though Chanute's at half a mile, which is not much better than 0, you got to slow down. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. Remember, just because you know the route you're taking, when you have no landmarks and no visibility, you're not going to know exactly where that curve is or where that road might come to an end. And it's what resulted in some crashes last week with that dense fog. When folks were not slowing down, they weren't watching out, they weren't being careful. You got to do that as we head out this morning. Some light fog around the Grand Lake area and some denser fog into parts of eastern Benton County this morning as well. And once the fog burns off, we are looking at a pretty decent day. It's going to be above normal for our temperatures, but still have to be, it's still going to be a decent day. So if there's some things you didn't get done over the summer, you got some more time to get those projects done out there. We'll be mostly clear to partly cloudy as we head through the afternoon. Unfortunately, we are dry, and of course that unfortunately comes as the fact that we still have some drought conditions in parts of the area. So even though we've had some rain, we need more, and we just don't have any on the horizon. Now overnight and towards sunrise tomorrow, clouds will begin to thicken up. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies through our Tuesday, and again, future track hinting at maybe a sprinkle or two. So if you get a couple of raindrops on your windshield, don't be surprised, but the overall rain chances for tomorrow are less than 5%. It's just going to be mostly cloudy, and still temperatures well above average. Overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, skies will begin to clear out again. We're partly cloudy. And as we go through Wednesday, our Wednesday looks a lot like today. A mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Will be dry, and we will continue to remain quite warm. In fact, our temperatures, so Wednesday, of course, first day of October, and our temperatures will actually warm up in the first couple of days of October as well. So here's what we got through the morning. Again, some of that patchy fog hanging on through 9, maybe 10 at the latest. Otherwise, low 60s to start, upper 70s by 11. You can see right now, skies are pretty clear, but those clouds will begin working in the next hour or so and start bringing us those partly cloudy skies across the region. We'll go into the low to mid 80s today, southeast winds 5 to 10, so definitely above normal out there. Our lows, and I think I mentioned this before, is our, at the beginning, I think it was, of summer, we had where our temperatures, our high temperatures were pretty close to average, but our lows were 15, almost 20 degrees above normal for like 2 weeks straight. But we didn't do a lot of warming in the afternoon. Now it's the opposite. Our lows, while they're not right at normal, are pretty close to, but our daytime highs are climbing on us. We'll go upper 50s, low 60s tonight. Could get some isolated patchy fog as we head toward tomorrow morning as well. Mid 80s again tomorrow into Wednesday. Upper 80s getting close to 90 for some of us as we head to Thursday and Friday. Saturday still warm. We have a system at the beginning of next week. Still several days out. We really need those rain chances to be higher than what what they are, but we're looking at least at some isolated shower and thunderstorm chances. And as you can see, as we roll into the second half of the next work week, temperatures looking to come back much closer to normal into the upper 70s. That's a check of your forecast. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
We'll see you there.
Global superstar Bad Bunny is said to headline the Super Bowl halftime show.
The NFL, along with Apple Music and Rock Nation, announced the Grammy-winning artist will headline the halftime show in football's biggest game in Santa Clara, California on February the 8th. And the announcement follows his historic residency in his home country of Puerto Rico, which came to an end earlier this month.
Bad Bunny has won 3 Grammys along with 12 Latin Grammys and is up for 12 more Latin Grammys this year. Always fun to see who's going to be performing on the halftime at Super Bowl.
I feel like they announced it a little earlier than usual, but I don't pay that much attention to.
There's always big speculation, so maybe they wanted to clear any rumors.
I know there's been a lot of speculation about a particular artist, possibly. So.
Well, some doctors are advising against a growing trend that's believed to help you sleep better.
Okay, they say taping your mouth shut to prevent mouth breathing while you sleep isn't backed by science, despite claims on social media that it forces nose breathing for better sleep. No, that's not how that works at all. Well, doctors say any benefit to taping your mouth shut to sleep is small and may even increase risks like making sleep apnea worse, or you could potentially cause suffocation. They also say that few studies on mouth taping gave no firm conclusions it was better for sleep. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, they say options to consider include using a CPAP machine or getting a prescription mouthpiece. Now, if you possibly have obstructive sleep apnea, which causes mouth breathing because of a blocked airway, doctors advise getting a sleep test to see if you need a CPAP machine or other therapy, not a piece of tape.
No, that's not the way to go at all. I don't that's the thing though. I see a lot of interesting things on social media. Now, sometimes you get some stuff like it's a good recipe or it has some actual good advice on where to go or to do something. Right. But 90% of the time, it's that business. I mean, hanging upside down from the rafters in this studio increases blood flow. Now, I could go on social media and make a video and sound very convincing that if you hang upside down from your closet at night, you increase blood flow and lead to a better sleep with much more restful start to the day. I can sound believable. It doesn't make it true, okay? I'm not saying we always lie. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't take much on social media to make it so much more believable. I hate that stuff.
It's a big trend, though.
It's a big trend to just spread crap.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, really, that's what the trend is, it seems. Well, the trend we have is continuing for some fog across the area. You can see parts of southeast Kansas, pretty dense fog out there. Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, Independence, Parsons, Sedan, all with reduced visibilities, including Iola, some light fog around the Grand Lake area, and some denser fog eastern Benton County. So, again, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them. Now, once that fog burns off, we are looking at a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies through the afternoon today. Clouds increasing into our Tuesday, and our temperatures remaining above average. As we start, low 60s out there for some of us. Some of that fog should be done 9-10 at the latest. Look how quickly we warm up, though. Upper 70s by 11 o'clock. Got another look at your forecast and your wake-up recap right after this.
Hey, well, this is your wake-up recap for September 29th. The top stories to start your day. A deadly motorcycle crash on I-49 north of Carthage claims the life of a 41-year-old Kansas man Friday afternoon. Jacob Morby from Bonner Springs lost control of his Harley-Davidson and crashed into the median. Despite life-saving efforts from first responders, he died at the scene. And the Guilty by Association Truck Show took over Joplin this past weekend, transforming the city into the region's biggest community celebration. But the heart of the event beats strongest during the Special Olympics convoy, where trucking companies bid for prime positions and raise hundreds of thousands of dollars to support athletes and their families. This event had something for everyone while making a lasting impact on the community. And Joplin's manufacturing companies take center stage as Congressman Eric Burleson showcased their contributions to national defense. Burleson toured facilities during National Manufacturing Month, highlighting how these local firms produce components for critical defense systems. And that's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And again, some dense fog parts of southeast Kansas this morning. After that burns off, a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Temperatures above normal, low to mid 80s with a southeast breeze 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into the evening, still partly cloudy. Overnight, upper 50s, low 60s, calm winds, and maybe some patchy fog to start our Tuesday. Mostly cloudy skies, mid 80s through Wednesday, so October the 1st, and then the 2nd and 3rd, upper 80s near 90. We're watching a system next week, brings us some isolated rain chances, but also should bring our temperatures back down to normal by the second half of next week.
All right, well, a Wisconsin man is about to set off on a 3,000-mile bike ride for charity.
Perry Kuznar will gear up in San Diego, then ride cross country all the way to St. Augustine, Florida. He's asking folks to donate a penny a mile, which comes out to $30 for the trip per person. The fundraising effort aims to benefit several local causes, including addiction support programs and programs for the homeless.
Kuznar will start the ride on October 3rd with the hope to finish in roughly 2 months. Very impressive and
indeed
great cause.
Yeah, and he's got a great ride for the journey as well. Well, thank you all so much for joining us this morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.